In this video, which is part 24 of the Coinmarketcap chart, we're going to focus on what we call here the scrolling effect. And as you can see here, as I click on this, it will start to scroll nicely. And if I click on here, it will scroll as well. Of course, the background color right now doesn't work, but that's alright. You can see here the other items. If I now start to drag here, it will see this and recognize that. If I drag from this side, it will go all to the end. So let's start to look how to do this. So let's start to look exactly what we need to do, and we're going to pick up from where we left off in the previous part. This is part 24. So what we need here is, for example, this here, we want to make sure that if we are able to select this item, we want to be able to scroll or basically drag it to the left side. And as we do that, we want this chart to basically get smaller as well. So we have to do that. But of course, I just want to give you a quick note. Once we start to do this here, the background color will not yet be fixed. We will not focus on the background color yet. We just want to have the dragging functionality that if you click on this item here, we can move it there. And if you click on here, within this area here, we can move it to the right side. So to do this, we need to go all the way down. And within here, we have the zoom functionality here, basically the zoom box. Within the zoom box here, what we're going to do here now is we're going to create basically some additional items. So the items will be just below here after this, but we're still within the zoom box functionality. This is very important. Why? The zoom box here has these variables, the min and max values, which are extremely useful and important for us. So let's scroll down here, and then what we're going to do here is we're going to say here canvas, and if I refer to canvas in the object destructuring, I'm referring to my chart number 2. That's the ID. So this is the second chart, which is of course the chart here at the bottom. So then I'm going to say a dot. I'm going to say here add event listener, like that. And then what we want to do here is we want to track the mouse down functionality. So here comma, and then we're going to put in here an E for the event, and then I'm going to say here this will start a specific function, and I'm going to give this function a name drag start, basically to indicate the starting point of the dragging. So now we have this one here. So the next thing what we want to do here is basically starting the drag start, or at least do something with this function. So we're going to say function drag start, and within this function we're going to say here the E event, I'll just call this our drag event. Basically it's just a mouse down, and it will have the mouse down position. That's the one we need to get. So this is very important. If we're going to drag, we must know first the position. Are we within this area here with that the east west resize cursor, the EW resize cursor? And if so, that moment we can start to drag it, and we have to make sure we are on this point here, of course. So what I'm going to do here as a function, I'm going to put that in there, and then I'm going to say the following. I want to put in here basically the functionality, and the functionality that we have here must be a if statement, and the if statement will be the following. Let's say if, and then what I want to do here is I want to grab here the drag, and I'm going to say a dot, and this will be the offset x. Basically this will indicate where do we drag it from. So this is our starting point. So from this point here, then we can say here if this is larger than equal to the, and then we can get here basically the commands here above. I guess we can just copy most of this, except here was basically this one here. So let's grab this item first. I guess that we should be doing this first, my bad. Let's go to copy this, but I'm going to rename this to drag. And the reason I'm doing this to drag is so it's easier for us to understand what we're doing. So once we have this, and this is a double condition because we must be within the minimum, so within here and there, so basically within this area here. Then what we're going to do here is say, well, basically we need to put in then the dragging move effect. So what I'm going to say here in this if statement, we're going to say here canvas. So we're going to again pinpoint the second chart, and then we're going to say here on mouse move, and then what I'm going to do here is say this is an event, and this event here we're going to say here the following. We say here drag move, and then what we can do here to make it easy, I'm going to select here the my chart ID, and we say here comma as well the E, and the E is the event that we have registered there. So once we did this, we have this one here, and oh sorry, we don't even need this one. So once we have this, we have to now, because basically we make the condition, are we within this area? If so, we should be now able to drag. So what I'm going to do here is now just say, or not even in here, sorry, I'm going to create now a new function just below here. I'll say here function drag move, and this function drag move has, I'm just going to give this again the my chart object name, which is identical to this, and the other one would be the movement. We can just say E for now, and later on we can probably give it a proper name, or maybe a drag move. Well, drag move is exactly the same here, or the drag, what is the right term for that? Maybe the drag delta. That's probably a better one. And the delta stands for difference in mathematics. So the difference in drag. So then what we want to do is we want to grab now the item. We have to search for that, which is basically the timestamp. Because what I want to do is when we drag this, I need to know once we are on a certain point, I want to move this fluently. So as we're going on, as we move fluently, we want to remove every one of these items depending on our index. So if we're going up here, we did some heavy lifting already, and we have to just search for it. It's called the timestamp area, well, at least the timestamp. That's the one we did. So I say Ctrl F, timestamp. This is the one I want to grab. So copy this one. It's from the zoom functionality. Then I'm going to escape that and go scroll down all the way back. I'm going to say in here. I'm going to paste all of this in there. We can say here again timestamp. That is fine. But here we need to copy this. And I'm going to say here for the mouse wheel, this will be not mouse wheel, but now it is the drag data. Secondly, we have here the chart. So here we have to truly consider which chart are we focusing on. Well, when we hover on this chart here, I want to get the data, or basically, and this is the reason why it's all aligned nicely, I want to get the index here, but this should be impacting here. However, the index will be in here, and they're all aligned, so that will mean that here we can just remove everything. We can only use the X here, and the reason why is because we have here the object destructuring somewhere above in the skills. So we can just borrow that chunk of code. So then we have that one here. Alright, so once we did this, I want to save this, refresh, open up developer tab, and see if we get anything. Alright. Then, or let's refresh this, so we have this, and drag it on here. As you can see, we get the index numbers here. Of course, we still have this here, look, it doesn't block it. However, if I hover here, it doesn't work. But the moment I click on here, which is basically the condition that it should be within this area, from that moment on, it doesn't see anymore, or doesn't understand that it's now over. So we have to, I will just have to block this functionality for now. So what we're going to do here, just here above, we have, or just down here, I'm going to say, going to get here another canvas with an add event listener. And this canvas add event listener will be mouse up. So basically, when we're dragging, it's mouse down. So the moment we drag it, everything is fine. But what I want to do now, here is I want, when we have, when we release the mouse button, we want to have here basically the movement or the mouse move blocked. So what I'm going to say here, canvas, which is still pinpointing the second chart, and I'm going to say on mouse move equals null. And what this really does is it will block the item. So if I refresh, now click on this, alright, this works. And now move here, look at that, it doesn't trigger anymore our function. That's exactly what I want. So now we have this part here. So you might say, alright, how do I change this? Well, let's look at it. What we need to do here is, we want to change it based on two positions, on this one here, and then when we release it. And, well, or basically, this is the moment when we have the movement. Once we will release it, it stops moving, so that's no problem. So what I'm going to do here is the following. I'm going to get here the my chart, which is chart number 1, and I'm going to say a dot. And once we do this, I want to say here config.options, because I'm going to reassign the min value scale. So I'm going to say here options.scales.x.min, and this will be equal to what exactly? The scroll point. However, the scroll point is just the index of this. So what I need to get here is, of course, the data, or sorry, is it the data or it's the dates? Let me think, what is this exactly? I think this is the dates. Alright, that's the right term. So once we did this, I'm going to put in enter, say my chart dot update, and I'm going to say here in non-update. Basically, we want to update it, but do not reload any effects. So refresh. Now you have this here. Let's drag this there, and you can see here. Go back, there, go back, go back. There we are. And then if I let go, and then now I'm going to move, doesn't work. If we do here, doesn't work here, of course, because we have to fix that one. However, if we go here again, it starts all the way at the beginning again, because right now this is not moving. And that's why the 10 pixel radius, or the area for dragging, is now still quite fixed. But we need to move this, and that will be done in the next video. I will focus more deeper on that. But right now we have this one, and this is working. So now what I want to do is I want to look at this if statement here. Let's check the if statement here. That is fine. We have this one here. So this works. But what I want to do as well is I need to have another one as well. Let me check. I probably have to duplicate this. Alright, so I just quickly check, because we can see here, where is it? This is the functionality of the if statement. I'm sure this can be refactored into a far better way. For now, I will accept it as it is. Making it work is more important than perfection, in my opinion, for now. Later on, we can always fine tune. Once it works, we can perfect it step by step. So what I want to do here is I'm going to say here the max. We have this one, and then I'm going to say here the max. And then what I want to do here, let's see, we have this scroll point function, drag, move. But of course here should be now on equal to the max value instead of the min value. Save that. Then I'm going to refresh. Let's close that. Alright, refresh. There we are. Alright, and then move this. There we are. And then of course if we move this here, and let's see, you can see here, it does recognize the moment we move it. The only thing is that it doesn't recognize the movement yet. Next video, we're going to focus on the movement, and afterwards we have to figure out how we can do the center part, which is also still a quite tricky item.